Welcome back to Chafin's Garage and Chafin's Rally. This is a special look at a special car. So, most of you know that I had a 2019 John Cooper Works 6-speed manual that I had for a couple of years and really enjoyed. I think it's just one of the best, most comfortable manual transmission cars, at least in the mini category, that I've had. And it was just a fantastic car. It was much like this car, except that this car is one of only 999 made. It's the special mini 1-6 edition. And we're going to take you through this car, outside and inside, and go for a little drive in the Mini 1-6. So this is essentially the last manual transmission car that Mini will produce in 2024. Then they're abandoning all manual transmission cars. And so they wanted to celebrate the last one by putting out a special edition, which they typically do for these kinds of things. So they called it the 1-6. And so the similarities are that it's basically a John Cooper Works F56 third generation hardtop, two-door hatch with a fair amount of badging and some other interesting little things. So the badging. The first thing is that it's completely blacked out, so it has all of the things that people look for. The trim here, that's normally chrome. This is normally chrome. The belt line is normally chrome. That's all blacked out automatically. So everything on this car, except for the John Cooper Works logo, which is still the old logo, which is kind of cool because the new logo is much different. And this one, I think, is pretty iconic to the brand. The other thing that you may have already noticed is that all the way down the center of this car is this stripe, which it's a decal, and it is in the, I don't know if you can make it out, but it's in the shape of a 1-6 shifting pattern. And what's really cool is it goes all the way across the roof and down the back of the car. And when we get inside, you'll see why that's particularly cool, because it's on the sunroof as well. So, badging. So they give you these cool, it comes with the, I think they call this the cross trek or some kind of, it's a wheel that you don't find on many minis, but it is not completely unique to this car, I don't think. But it's a really cool wheel. So I like it a lot better than the wheel that I had on the other John Cooper Works hardtop. But you do get these floating John Cooper Works special Mini 1-6 floating center caps. You get 1-6 side scuttles. You get 1-6 here. And just a reminder, in case you really forgot that you were in the 1-6, it's everywhere, okay? More, I think even more than the GP. So there's a really cool kind of shifting pattern badge on the back. So you are part of the club. So again, only 999 made worldwide. And I don't know how many of them are in the U.S. have no idea. I know they didn't all sell right away. In fact, I think this is early 2024, February, and I think you can still find new ones. So they weren't as sought after as initially thought. There's the exhaust, which is the shiny tip exhaust, which is different than the GP exhaust, which is just more rough looking. But I love the diffuser in the back. This is the diffuser that I wished I would have had on the other car. So, back to the 1-6 over here, and side scuttle here. So, that's the outside of the car. This car has been tinted already. It did not come tinted, so we did put tint on it. We'll go to the inside. Okay, inside. When you step inside, the first thing you'll notice is here you have the 1 to 6. Instead of the John Cooper Works, you've got 1 to 6 sills here, which are really nice. It comes with its own unique 1 to 6 badged floor mats in the front. There were no floor mats in the rear. So I do have floor mats, but they're just standard. The seats are really cool. These are essentially the same seats as I have in the GP3. Feel the same, almost look identical. So that's really cool. 1 to 6, of course, on the steering wheel, in case you have forgotten by now that you're in a 1 to 6. And the part that's on the sunroof that I was talking about is here. If you can make that out, but it says 1 of 999. So that's really cool. So if you're going to have a sunroof, which, you know, personally, I have tried to avoid them, but this car, it only came this way. So if you wanted the 1 to 6 and you wanted the last of the manuals, you got yourself a sunroof. Now, it is the iconic trim, so it has all of the goodies that you can get in terms of technology and steering and the instrument clusters. The digital instrument cluster, I'll kick that on here in a second. It has heads-up display. All of these things, most people that follow minis at this point know. So let's give it. So there's the instrument cluster, and you know it does what they all do. I've got CarPlay already connected, and it does have the widescreen, which is what my other car did not have. It was a standard no nav car. It has 1 to 6. Again, if you've forgotten and you happen to be in the passenger seat, well, then this is cool, because this is 1 to 6. Special, 3D printed 1 to 6, and that is over here as well, 1 of 999. There's the heads-up display. I, of course, have this radar detector in here just to keep me aware when there may be an accident or something in the area. It has nothing to do with my driving strategy. So center armrest comes with the Bluetooth. It's cool because my other one didn't have this. My GP does, has the Bluetooth. I think the GP has a Bluetooth charger in it, so that's kind of nice. And it does have rear seats, with the GP does not have, and it has these cool accented rear seats. I'm sure these will never be used. Standard glove box, nothing out of the ordinary. Dual climate control, heated steering wheel, which I've never had in a Mini. This is really cool for me. And of course, I didn't even know that the button for it is down here. So you push that button and then you have heated steering is activated. See right there, heated steering activated right there. How cool is that, huh? Never had that before. I've had heated seats. There's the heated seats. Of course, air conditioning. Has the USB-C charging as well as a USB. It's got the old-fashioned 12-volt, which at one time was a cigarette lighter. Of course, no more. It's just a 12-volt charger. So that's the inside of the car. I'll give you a quick look at the rear storage compartment. I know we're not supposed to show our license plates here, get a good look, because this one's temporary anyway. But what I really wanted to show you was that stripe goes all the way down to the back of the car. Not on the back window, but inside, which is another feature I didn't have on the 2019. You have the storage compartment lift up, so you have a flat space if you want to just throw stuff in there. But if you need to store things, like I store jackets and hats and flashlights and other little bags and things in there, it keeps them out of the way. So that's kind of nice. So that's the Mini 1 to 6. Oh, it does come with Union Jack taillights, which is common for a lot of cars these days. All right, we'll go for a ride here next. I did think of one other thing. So I've opened the screen for the sunroof. You know, it's dark like this. Look at the size of this dog. Whoa, puppy, run, run, go home. Yes, we're in the country. Back to the sunroof. So I've opened the screen, so now it's a little lighter. And the thing that's always kind of perplexed me about sunroofs, and not just mini sunroofs, but any sunroof I've had in a car. So when you open it, the first setting is this pop-up, right, which I really like, and it lets a nice little stream of fresh air into the car. So on a nice day like today, it's really effective, and I enjoy it. The next setting, where you open it all the way and you let the sun, you know, into the car, hence the name sunroof. Well, you're hoping for fresh air, you know, some air movement. Well, unlike a convertible, like the Roadster I had, this car and any other car I've had, because of the way they've screened it and made the opening, you really get no more air movement. You almost get more air movement with the pop-up than you do with the sunroof itself. So, unless I'm, you know, on a cloudy day or just want to be able to look up and see an unobstructed view of the sky, which I don't do much of because I'm driving, I almost always keep this on, you know, closed on that first pop-up set. I hardly ever open it all the way. Plus, it adds drag to the car. So if you are going to go fast, and it's noisy and so forth. So I know people really love these things, and I'm not trying to poo-poo the sunroof. It's just there's very little time that I find that it's useful. So, you know, I go with that other setting. And then it's much more quiet. It's still letting in air, and I can actually feel the air. And if I want to push the screen, I can do that too, and that way the heat, you know, from the sun won't be bearing down on me so much. Anyway, my 2 cents on the sunroof. Great, I mean, it's cool, and especially with the decal that I have, it's cool. But I just don't use it much. How about you? Do you use your sunroof much? Love to hear from you. Okay, as far as the engine goes on the Mini 1-6 2024, it's a pretty run-of-the-mill, standard, nondescript John Cooper Works inline 4-cylinder twin turbocharged engine, just like every other John Cooper Works F56. And what I think they should have done, they should have probably badged something in here to indicate that it was a special car. Because unlike the old JCWs, which had, when you opened the hood, you knew you had a JCW because there was a tuning kit number and JCW badging. Well, on these, there's nothing. This could be any Mini F56, really, at first glance anyway. But it's a great engine. It's turned out to be a very reliable engine, the B48 engine, and it produces in its currently stock tuned format 228 brake horsepower. And will I do anything to it? I'm not sure. But this is the engine that you'll see when you open the 1-6 bonnet, just like you'll see when you open any F56 John Cooper Works bonnet. Okay, I didn't talk about the brakes earlier when I was going through the exterior of the car, but it has the same brakes as the previous car that I had, which are fantastic brakes. These are monster brakes for a car of this size. And, you know, of course you can get, you know, drilled or slotted rotors and all that, which eventually I may do, but for now, these will be fine, and they'll handle pretty much anything that you throw at them. Maybe a really aggressive track day may give them some trouble, but it's a good brake system. And I also didn't mention the P0, Pirelli P0 run flats that they have on this car, which they are abandoning. They are not putting run flats on cars anymore. But these are run flat tires. And normally I would say get them changed right away. These are pretty comfortable. I don't know if it's just a different tread pattern or what it is, but these aren't as bad and as harsh as I thought they might have been. Now this car, even though it's iconic trim, which is the top of the line trim for Mini, and normally the iconic trim comes with what they call dynamic suspension. So it stiffens the suspension when you put it in sport mode. Okay, well this car does not have that. This car comes with John Cooper Works suspension, which most people would prefer over the dynamic. The dynamic gives you the ability to soften the ride when you're, just in normal daily driving mode, and then you put it in sport and it stiffens the ride, along with the other adjustments to the engine and the throttle and the steering stiffness. It also stiffens the ride. Well, in the case of the 1-6, unlike that car up there, which was super cool, this car has the John Cooper Works suspension. So the ride height is about a ½ inch lower on John Cooper Works suspension, and it is always in kind of this stiff mode. It's not super stiff. It's not GP3 stiff by any means. That's a pretty stiff ride, and it does not change with sport mode either. But this car also does not change, but it's kind of in between. And it's pretty good. I've taken it. I haven't run the car aggressively yet because I'm still in the break-in period. But for what I've, some of the turns and whatnot. Sorry about that. Some of the turns that I've taken and whatnot. Once I put it in sport, it behaves pretty nicely. Would I tune the suspension? Will I tune the suspension? Probably. Eventually, I'll probably stiffen it just a bit. I'll probably put a tension bar in the back and maybe one in the front. But for now, this is going to be my daily. I kind of want it to be a little bit more comfortable, so I would probably leave it as is. And you probably have noticed that one of the first things, of course, I did, and I think I made a video on this, I changed it to a stubby antenna, because that's just what you have to do. That's the first mod, right out of the box. Just do it right at the dealer. Stubby antenna.